What's up, everybody? Thanks for stopping by my channel, Esteemed Queen and Mentality. Be sure that you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so that way you know when I post all of my tea talks. You fill my cup, I'll fill yours. And by all means, welcome or welcome back. Now, I know this is a little bit of a different setup. I have a couple of different projects I am working on that I'm trying to get finished. This one is my crochet curtain that I'm trying to finish, so then that way I can get it onto my shop before the holidays. So I am going to be working and talking at the same time. But needless to say, fall time is literally right around the corner. I am super excited. I got my contacts back. So get your water, get your wine, get whatever it is that you sipping on. Get it and bring it close. This is like my third cup of coffee, and I kind of feel bad about it. So if any of my subscribers have ever tried the, what is called, the Rise coffee, like the mushroom coffee, put it in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. You know, I keep seeing the commercials. I am a breakfast blend Folgers type of woman, but needless to say, I want to switch up a couple of different things moving towards, you know, the holidays. So then that way, by the time the new year comes around, I'm already in kickstart mode. So if you've tried that mushroom coffee, let me know down in the comments, okay? Needless to say, get your water, get your wine, get whatever it is that you're working on. Get it and bring it close. I'm going to try to make sure I stay in frame while I have this tea talk with y'all. But this tea talk here is a tea talk that I feel like we should have. I have done different videos in the past that had something to do with the scope of this tea talk. You may hear the pet, well, he's supposed to be taking a nap, but you know, y'all know he nosy. But anyhow, so I did a couple different tea talks in the past about the scope of the tea talk that we're going to have now. I want to say the most recent one I've done has been the fuse box, or a green light, and presets, and the WTF about you video. All those videos are kind of like prerequisites as to what we're going to get into with this one. Alright, so I want to, of course, say this is sponsored by my real life, of course. And so I'm going to take you back in time a little bit again, okay? So this tea talk, by all means, is sponsored by my real life. And it goes back, I want to say maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, around pandemic time, when I just started building my channel. I wanted to make sure I keep focus on healthy boundaries, being able to use your discernment, not to be offensive, but to make sure that, you know, you're able to defend yourself, okay? You, in your head, you have your own world, you have your own type of orbit. So you know what you're going to tolerate, and you know what you want near you. You know what I'm saying? We don't like the sun near us, but damn it, it's there. Sometimes it's like that for certain people. Like, they have their purpose, even though it can be painful sometimes to deal with them, okay? Toleration is at an all-time high on the Christmas list, I understand. So, yeah, so so when we talk about today's tea talk, I want you to understand and grasp where the maturity comes in. And whichever steps you claim to be on right now, that is fine. But information is key, research is key, knowing is key, or reading is fundamental for you to be able to do all of that. So when I say it pays to, it's gonna burn. Okay, anytime you put your hand on the fire to see if it's hot, you're gonna get burned. You gotta make sure it was worth it, though. If it's gonna propel you forward, you need to think about what you're doing. All right, you don't have anyone who makes a quick decision, red flag. So anyhow, take you down back memory lane. Shouts out to Minnie. Okay. Yeah, so one point in time, like, we all go through times where, relationships or things like that don't work out. So at that time, I had a friend, or an associate that I worked with that was, aware of the adversities I had going on in my relationship at that time. And so, side note, she is maybe like, she was about 30 years older than me. I hang out with very mature women, you know what I'm saying? So, but needless to say, she has some wisdom. And so this time around, it was a day that I wanted to vent a little bit, and so I did. And I did because, just like the You're Here video, I didn't know where on the map I was. So I didn't know if I was coming or going. It was that type of like mental distress. And so I remember one time, it was a day that I wanted to talk about it. And so it was because I felt stuck. I just couldn't, you think folks until you realize them. You know what I'm saying? So, I was, just, I guess you could say, looking for like a support or validity as to, feeling as if like, I'm not by myself, or I'm not, alone in this matter. And when I finished talking, she had the most interesting feedback. And she says, well, Miss Terrell, now now you just gotta move on. Don't want to say I told you so. So that really, I remember that made me feel like quicksand. Like, what is going on with my friendships? Like, what is going on? Friendships, relationships. I definitely felt a stagnation there. Down the line, I realized, where the issue was. Needless to say, at that time, when I was going through my ordeal, what I did not like receiving is, that mediocre feeling, as if like, really, like, are you a fan of mine? Are you a friend of mine? Or are you someone else? Because, like, when you don't receive what normally would be, reciprocated from both ends in a friendship, I was just shocked. Now, mind you, she's older. So I'm throwing that in there as well. But needless to say, knowing a little bit of what that's all you can say. Like, that just didn't sit well with me. Then there was another time where I had another friend where she pinpointed some things out that were definitely new to me, that I had no idea about. And so I did some research, and the more you know, the more you grow. And so that kind of really set me on the map. It's like being lost in the woods and you just stumble upon a compass, you know, or you stumble upon a map. You know, you have those friends where they're going to give you something for you to grow, so then that way you know better. All right, so those are the difference between those two friends. Needless to say, you know, the friend that gave the information, like I said, she was, you know, she had my back. She was a lot. And I get it now because like I feel like I'm an animated person for my own reasons, personal and professional. However, like it's okay. You know, it's okay. Like everything I do now that I'm comfortable being who I am, yeah, it's animated. Hell, I went to school for theater and fine art. So why am I so shocked that this is part of me, right? That's what happens when you're stuck and you're stagnant. You're so worried about not drowning and not being mauled by alligators and sharks, you don't even realize that you got fins. You know, you can grab onto a tree root and pull your cell phone out. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's just like ice sitting in the freezer, and then the moment it gets out into some 90-degree heat, it's melting. You know, it's that type of vibe. So in the end, when it came down to recovery and when it came down to healing, I had a bit of the same outcome with both, but in a way, yeah, I had a different outcome with both. So, the friend that I had at work, when it came down to me mapping out and planning and strategizing my next move after this situation, I didn't, you know, me and the work friend, we used to get together and hang out a little bit after our work shift. When I started planning and strategizing what I was going to do next, she was not on the list. That plus many other things and people and places, I did not reach out to contact, hang out with her, none of that. Because at that time, I was needing support and empowerment, you know, more than anything. And then at the same time, if they're going through something identical and yet they're telling you to make all these power moves and to be strategic and get things taken care of, so then that way you can safely remove yourself, but you're not doing it, yet years later, you know, down the line, you're fussy and upset because I haven't reached out to you. Well, my thing is this: you weren't what I needed around me at that time. And getting just a taste of how and the meaning and your definition of support, it didn't nurture mine. So it served you no purpose. I mean, and then on top of that, down to the address, the phone number, I switched jobs, everything. Like literally, you would have thought I was in witness protection how I was moving, and it was all because that's how my higher power told me to move. You know, a lot of times we thinking that a plant is dead and we need to start over, but we don't realize a lot of growth does happen in the dark. Okay, that goes for plants. I mean, you know, you name it. Like literally, people, the things that we go through. You play your cards right with your healing and your recovery. It becomes, you know, a time and place where, you know, you grow from your darkness, and then eventually, when your insides feel like they have matured enough to be able to go out and show the world who they are and what they are, your leaves, you start sprouting, the whole kit and caboodle. So at the end of at the end of that situation, you know, I just the work friend, I look more at the fact of at her age, I didn't want to experience those type of situations with who I was in a relationship with at that time. I didn't want to go through, hush, I didn't want to go through all of that. You know, it's kind of just like certain things, times and places, they have a way of giving you a glimpse as to what it is that you're going to be facing, or it won't be the last time you see it. We get that face to face. And so if you're enlightened to know and to see it, and you make a decision, you know, down the line, it's gonna yield a result. So at that time, I was just like, no, like, when I get to be her age, I don't want to be, you know, 50 having those DV type of issues, you know, but yet telling someone younger to do what it is that I don't have the courage to do. I want to be able to walk and talk in my lane, you feel me? So that was that. So years down the line, I end up moving near her, in the same neighborhood, right? So mind you, I still felt the same way as I did the last time I spoke to her. And mind you, that was, at this point in time, that was maybe 2-3 years, you know, prior. And so I guess she did some mental math, and she realized that, like, I lived up the street and around the corner from her. So she sends me a message on social media pretty much telling me, you know, you could, same thing, you could have spoke, and if you were living that close, you could have came and see me. And it's just, you know, you could have, me, but yet not at near time did you pause, stop, honk, come around, knock, but you're talking to me as if like I have to find validity in you to be around. No. Like, I didn't need your support then because I felt stuck. I don't need to be validated by you now. Okay? So then, now, the present, no. Like, so I didn't even say anything back, because my thing is this: you need to be able to fortify your own home, okay, before you even step to me and assume you're gonna get a reaction, because you sound delusional. You sound delusional, and you feel entitled in the wrongest way. So mind you, me being who I am, I took that way home a couple of times that week. And I did the speed limit. And by all means, you can see, you can duck, you can hide, you can do whatever you want to do. But what you will not do is tell me that I have to do anything for you to not feel inferior next to me. You know, that's the difference between you not recognizing where you need to be better for yourself. You know, the more you become your own cheerleader and you strengthen that within yourself, people like the work friend, they mean nothing. They, like, literally, you can have tunnel vision. They do not affect you. They are a non-mattering factor. And it doesn't take a lot for you to know when that season comes, because it's a light bulb. Something clicks. Something works where it's almost like chemistry, you know? You know that what is it called, a GIF, where it's like all the math behind the white lady's head and she trying to calculate, see what's going on. Literally, that is how they look, because it's like, why did I not get to them? Why did I not irritate them? Why do they not, you know, seek something through me in order for them to, you know, ... And so that was not a way I wanted to heal, especially being if that was a behavior that I was used to receiving. See, I learned the first time that motherfucker is hot. Do you hear me? And it burns. You have more than one layer of skin. And the longer you leave it up there, the longer you let people do you wrong, you know, they can get away with things, it will continue to burn thereafter. So when she gave me her itty bitty snippet of how her remorse, not even remorse, excuse me, how her sympathy was going to go, I knew damn well I couldn't move on, and I damn sure couldn't see her moving with me in any type of relationship at all, because it's just that won't gonna work for me, you know, especially when you're trying to be a happier person, while confronting and accepting whatever it is that you need to be accounted for you to hear stuff like that, it's just like you're on a treadmill walking in the same spot over and over and over again, because you're trying to regrow from old soil, and you can't do that. Okay, you can't. Like, no, start over. So that's what I had to do with the work friend, and I found myself in a place where I did a video called the Self Valley. That's how I was feeling. It was just like wow, you know, mind you, at that time, you know, I just really just cut everything. I cut all trees, leaves. The leaves fell off, but the branches I damn sure broke, okay? The tree trunks, yeah, I trimmed all that down, and, you know, I started over. So my picture of support was, you know, doing different things to be able to like to release that built up frustration. And so here comes the friend that was like too much, but you know what I'm saying, now I understand, like, it's okay, that friend. So of course, like, she was aware of what was going on too. So of course she gave me the knowledge of, like, pretty much put me in the right direction to want to know more. And it came to a point in time where everything in that relationship had hit me so fast that when she became too much, I just shunned her out. Like, I don't want to talk. I just want to work and focus on what it is I'm trying to do. That's it. You know, that was before I had my cat son. So it was just me, like literally just me. And so she had a flaw where, you know, she wanted you like she wanted to show what she had. You know how, like, gloat. There we go. Gloat. She was a gloater. As much as smart as she was, and she is, at that time she was a gloater. And it wasn't like inspiring at all. It was the total opposite. And I remember one time telling her, I was like, so let me get this straight. You said he said this, you said that, you did this. Yeah. But you can't do that. You love someone, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got feelings too, you know. So she had that. She had that tendency. And so at that time, with how I was feeling, with depression and everything like that, and still trying to like work through it, you know, she at the time was doing a grand gesture, and she wanted me to be a part of the process for her. And I did not like that. And then when I was like, you know, I'm busy, she's like, well, when will you be available? And I'm like, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, think outside of yourself and think about others at some point. You know, as quiet as it's kept, birds of the same feathers, they recognize each other. So, quiet as it's kept, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know, you know, because what, you know, you got those DNA strands, you got them strands, you know, you got them chromosomes, whatever you want to call it. If you can recognize it and you try to tell me it's not you, I look sideways these days. But needless to say, that was information that I needed to know in order to grow. And then once I got that information, it wasn't a thing of me wanting to feel validated about how I felt. It was more or less, I need help with a plan. And this plan, I don't want it to be on a crack foundation or bad ground. I want it to be something that is going to have stick-by-stick specifications and be able to help me how it needs to build me up. So with that being said, I learned the healthy way through the process of being amongst counselors and learning and reading on my own about other people's and places and things that can help you through that grieving process. And even when I was in school for my certifications to become a recovery coach, it was required for us all to meet once a week. So on top of me going to therapy, I was also going to a support group. And I say all of this to say, you know, we all go through different changes in life. We all experience things that can either bring us closer, or it can bring us further away from what it is that we need to do, what we aspire to do, what we're trying to do. And the people that we meet along the way, not the best way I could put this to you is probably a way my great-great-grandmother would have put it to me. And she used to say, baby, not every job requires every tool in your toolbox. Okay? So with that being said, no, not every situation is going to be the same. If you learn and if you realize what the lesson was. Okay? Carpentry don't need plumbing tools. Alright? What you do, you go out and you buy the tools that you need. What do you have now? You're starting to have a collection. Alright? In this collection, you've learned certain tools are for certain jobs, certain tasks. Alright? If you try to force it to work, you're going to strip it. Alright? If you don't keep it, if you don't keep it up, you'll dull it. Alright? If you don't keep it up, then if you don't keep up the maintenance, then it won't work. You feel me? This can also be put into an analogy of when and if you want to create a better and a healthier life for yourself. You know, there's other things to do than to feel like this is it, this is where I am. Yeah, that's where you are. Where are you going though? Okay, because even the cops will stop you. They realize you just rolling around in a circle. What are you doing? What are you doing? And when it comes to your toolbox, you know, that can be having to be professional when you go to work. And that can be like not cussing around the grandparents or the great-great-grandparents. However you want to flip it, twist it. Just like you got a fuse box, just like you got presets in your car. All right. There's things that you require, mandatory, minimum, bottom line, basic and essential to get things done. All right. You got a nail, you need a hammer, right? You got a screw, you need a screwdriver, right? You got a clog, A, B, C, D, F, G. Okay, get your wrench. You know what I'm saying? So, but with knowing that, apply it where it's necessary. The difference between my work friend is that, you know, again, she was in a situation, she's in a relationship where she's experiencing the same things I'm trying to get away from. All right. That wisdom is coming from a place of someone having an outer body experience, but not the strength within themselves to conquer what they have going on. You know, instead of telling me an example, be the example. Not everyone has the strength to do that. Whereas my other friend, the one that was too much, sometimes it's good to go overboard, because at least that way you get their attention. And again, sometimes, you know, the higher power has a sense of humor, and he likes to know if you really paying attention or not. So he sends folks and he sends things in your direction to you to see if you're going to be able to understand the assignment, okay, or have you understood the assignment. And with her, I did, okay. The information I received helped me understand the more you know, the more you grow. I feel like this is probably, there's no probably, this is the strongest I've been all my life. Like, I've been bold, I've been proactive, I've been self-motivated, I've been self-determined, I've been resilient. It hits different when you realize you have an inner child. We all have an inner child. I even did a video about that. And so when we realize that there's someone in us that we need to heal and take care of and make sure they're maturing just like we have to, or, you know, you see things a little different. So saying no is really a boundary. You know what I'm saying? Like, these things, when you have enlightenment and awakenings, you learn that, you know, all these things are necessary. All right. Hell, you can have a stud finder in your toolbox, and that means what? You want to get to the point. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You trying to find where in the wall you can actually put a nail and it can actually have some grip and grasp onto something. All right. Ain't nothing worse than you hanging up a heavy ass picture and you putting in the nail and the nail goes just into the sheetrock. Okay. Okay. If you know, you know. But you know, with that stud finder, you trying to find foundation. You trying to find something that's going to be able to hang on no matter what. Okay, sheetrock can only do but so much. Okay, Chinese drywall can only do but so much. But if you find a 2x4 or whatever it is that's reinforcing that wall, you're working with something. You're working with something. So, you know, hold on. He just is sitting there staring at me. So, needless to say, the information I received from her helped me be able to grow, to learn more, to know more. It also helped me be able to process the shock and also process the acceptance of the situation. Because now I know where to start my healing. So if I had to go back and deal with my inner child and things of that nature, typically on the road to recovery, that is what happens. when you learn to accept the situation, then you're able to know, like, hey, you can go out and there are resources there for you to be able to receive positive, healthy support to be able to help you go through the obstacle. Sometimes the only way out is through. So just like a maintenance man has a toolbox, just like anyone in any profession has a set of tools that they need to be able to get the job done. So do you. So, and it starts with you, all right, and it continues with you. This is a marathon, so ain't no point in you sprinting. There's no point in you sprinting, child. So, at the end of the day, yeah, you know, you got to know what you're working with. You got to know what you're working with. And what you know and what you're working with, you know what you need. You know what you need. So, go ahead and get your thoughts together as to, you know, what is it that you require in your toolbox to be able to handle whatever is thrown your way. Prayer is definitely in that motherfucker for me. Whew. Yes. Child, I'm to a point I ride with a Bible in my back seat. That way I know he is always with me. Do you hear me? Because times is funny, okay? Alright, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to tell you what I know. I'm about to go out here and find me somebody to make me some customized Jesus hug caps, bitch, and put them right on my car, because I need him everywhere I go. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? It's real. Alright, so I am telling you the truth. Alright, grass is green, skies is blue. Don't play with me and I won't play with you. Alright, so that's what I have for you. You know, again, no matter who it is and what they do, we all carry some type of box, bag, satchel, crossbody, man bag, you name it. And it got some shit in there. It got some shit in there for us. Because at any given time, you need your car keys, you need your cell phone. We all got a bag for something, right? So let's not act like we all don't have, you know what I'm saying, something to carry something in. So what is it that you putting inside that bag or that toolbox? What is it that you need to be able to be along your journey, all right, in your lane, minding your business, crocheting and shit. So anyway, Jesus hook caps, bitch, I just almost took myself out with that one. So yes, go ahead and put down below your comments about this video. That's all I wanted to talk to y'all about today. I'm about to go and watch me some Walking Dead real quick and enjoy the rest of my morning before my good show I like come on. Outside of that, I hope you enjoyed being in my yarn area with me, my yarn room. Make sure that you fill my cup so that way I can fill yours. Be sure that you like, share, subscribe, and like, share, comment, and subscribe down below to let me know what you think about this tea talk. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.